Hey, One Piece fans, this is Chris Boltz, and I'm coming in with an episode recap and review of this week's episode number 1144, The Worst Nightmare. The Five Elders Come Together. Now, unlike last week's episode that was kind of a bait and switch from the title, this one actually did live up to the title that was given to it. As you can see here, all the soldiers and everything, you see these big four giant streaks of black lightning. That's all of the Gorosei getting ready to be summoned onto the island. The giants continued their assault on the Navy. As you can see right here, one is firing big giant arrows at them, and another one's going to be coming in here and getting ready to jump on the boats and just use them as little logs as he's going through all the water, chopping them down. Brogy and Dory still continuing their march towards where Luffy is at. They're seeing that lightning come down, and they're not even afraid of that lightning whatsoever. And yeah, just like this look right here of Dory and Brogy, their eyes and just with one red eye and all that. Everybody is worried about what's going on. Sanji is still probably relatively close to where Luffy is taking on Saint Saturn. Everything is just about to really go to hell. So we just see all that big giant smoke covering Egghead Island, all those ships. It's kind of funny. A lot of ships, Navy ships, have been getting destroyed by the pacifistas, but we see that there's still a whole bunch of them that are still there, waiting to finish that buster call that they were sent to go ahead and do all the summonings right here. And now we're getting ready to just see all of them just come onto the island, all their different various forms, these demonic looking creatures. If anything, they remind me of all the demonic creatures that you saw was being summoned by Pain and Naruto. And we see them all right there. We got the first one right there, Saint Jupiter, Peter, he's known as the Sandworm, Saint Ethan Baron V. Nisjudo Bakutsu. And then we got Saint Topman Workery Fengshi. He's a big warring hog. And then next we got Saint Marcus Mars, who is Itsumade. And of course, we've already met Saint J. Garcia Saturn, also known as Gyuki. We got all these giant monsters just looking right there. They're fully fleshed out, monstrous forms. And they have lots of power there. And all of it is still too much for even Luffy to handle, as he's getting pushed back by all of them. And he's just watching everything as it's just being destroyed around him. And we see, Luffy's telling them, hey, to stop destroying the island. But of course, that's the entire reason that they're there. They're there to go ahead and destroy the island. And I think I'm actually impressed by Von Judo's technique right here. He charges off because he needs to stop those pacifistas from firing upon the Navy. Just galloping off in there, that demonic looking horse. And he's going to turn into half a centaur right here. Bring half his body out, and he's going to start just slicing everything in his path. As you can see right there. Now, when I saw this, I was like, man, maybe he has some type of relation to Brook, because Brook uses the exact same type of technique. He doesn't actually, same as Brook, Von Judo doesn't actually slash the enemy per se. Instead, what he does is when he hits them, they get hit with some type of cryogenic type attack, frozen attack, and it leaves this type of damage in its wake. And I was thinking that maybe there's some type of relation between him and Brook, and I did do some Google searching on that. Brook has relation to the Gorosei, but not to this one per se or anything. And I'm not going to go further into that or anything, because I want to be able to go into the anime and watch that watch how that unfolds as to why he has that particular relationship with that Gorosei. And that Gorosei, what I'm referring to, is Saint Saturn. Saint Saturn happens to have a lot of relationship. It seems he's the one that has more of an interaction with everybody that's below Marie Joy than any of the other Gorosei. So I want to see that unveil itself. And you see here he is in his centaur form, getting ready to slash all those pacifistas. He's a very strong type of character. and very fast. And here's Sanji trying to get in contact with all the rest of the other Straw Hats because they need to get off that island ASAP. They're this giant phoenix creature looking type thing, which once again looks like something from Pain that Pain would summon over in Naruto, is just trying to do as much damage on the island as possible. Usopp is letting Sanji know that Brook and the other Vegapunk is there. Lilith has arrived in the ship, and now it's time for them to go ahead and get off the island. Luffy continues his fight against Saint Saturn, but this time Saint Saturn has assistance, dealing not only with Saint Saturn, but he's also going to be dealing with the Sandworm. And the Sandworm is going to try to, it's actually going to be successful in swallowing Luffy. And this is where the Earthworm is going to just come up from underneath him, just like any other giant worm, and swallow Luffy whole. There's that big giant maw. We're actually getting towards the end of the episode, but before we actually get there, let me just say this right here. Toei be going hard on Zoro's fights. I tell you, as the more and more I look at Zoro's fights, I'm like, man, they even make his fights look more impressive than Luffy's fights. Zoro be going at it, and him and Lucci, they are going at it, and the animation on all of this is just top notch. I'm gonna just let some of it just play right here. As you see, Zoro counters Lucci with the sword attack of his own. Lucci forms Iron Body. You see this right here. This aura, this haki, both men feel, and it's so powerful that it causes each of them to miss each other, and they don't know who it is. They don't know. They've been so consumed with their fight that they don't know that the Gorosei has actually gotten onto the island and is wrecking shit of their own. But no, these two are like, nah, we gonna have this fight here. But just check out this animation. This is just phenomenal. I think even Luffy wasn't getting this type of animation or anything. This is just top-notch anime. Top-notch animation. That's like, man, I don't think this is going to be replicable in live action, obviously, but this fight has entered one of my top 10 fights in One Piece, and I'm pretty sure at least 8 of them have Zoro somehow involved in them. Zoro is possibly the best character on One Piece, and Luffy would come second, and I won't fight anybody on that one. I think Zoro has had the best arc, and he has the best fights, and he doesn't use any type of devil fruit power. It is just through sheer training and strength, which most of us all can relate to. When we're going out there, when we're training in our martial arts, and we're working our bodies to become in peak physical condition, we all can relate to Zoro. We can't relate to Luffy, who's sitting there. I mean, he's had a really good story arc and all that, and he's built himself up, but he has devil fruit powers. Zoro just has 3 swords and the sheer determination to become the world's strongest swordsman. And look at that, man. This is bonkers animation. This is what we were expecting last week when we were watching One Piece. Well, last week's episode was supposed to be more about, let's get off of boring Jinbei there for a minute. Last week's episode was supposed to be about Vegapunk communicating his message. They still haven't communicated that message. And according to One Piece time, it's only been 3 minutes since everything occurred between last week's episode and this week's episode. They still have 7 minutes remaining before he finally broadcasts the message. And that's why you have all these Gorosei that's on the island trying to stop all of this. But this right here, look at that. Let's just get back to some of this action with Zoro and Lucci. He just cuts through that. They're still cutting, and actually right here, this is the funny part. Sanji is about to call. He's about to call Zoro a bad name. You dead weight. And I don't think Zoro actually heard the communication, but he just heard. He felt the presence right here. He felt the presence. This is absolutely funny. You see it right there. He heard it. he heard Sanji calling him dead weight, and that's just gonna power him up. Look at that, he's pissed. He's absolutely pissed right there. And the thing is though, I was making a light of this in my Netflix One Piece season 2 preview, where they showed Sanji clasping Zoro on his back, and I'm like, no, that's not canonically accurate. Sanji would never clasp Zoro on his back in any type of brotherly manner. Hell, motherfucking no! Zoro probably would have slapped his hand away, or Sanji would have been like, I'm not touching this fool. We don't like each other like that. But yeah, let me go ahead and just, I don't want to keep playing it because I don't want to get this video copyright claim. So we're just gonna do stills right here, and we see Lucci, he's walking up. He's getting ready to do his ultimate move. Let's see, he what did he call it? This is actually a pretty cool scene right here. Look at this type of animation is just phenomenal. I'm gonna take a picture of that. I might make this my screensaver. I got my current screensaver for my computer is the new Asta from Black Clover. He's basically has merged with his demon, and it's a pretty cool ass picture. But this one right here, this one is just, man, this is some great animation. This is some great art right here. Some absolutely great art. I think he called his move seven deadly spots or something like that. Now I have a rule about fighting in anime. Whoever pulls out their most rapid fire move first is the one that's gonna lose the fight. I have watched thousands of hours of anime, and I have yet to see this rule be broken. Anyone who uses rapid fire maneuvers is the one that's gonna lose the fight. And lo and behold, that's the type of moves that Lucci pulls on Zoro. Zoro's dodging each hit miraculously. And earlier in this fight, when Sanji, rather not Sanji, but Sanji wishes he was in some type of animation like this. I'm sorry. I'm starting to be convinced that Sanji is the redheaded stepchild of the Straw Hat crew. But anyways, earlier in this fight, when Zoro and Lucci were clashing, the aura of that giant phoenix bird had came in, and it caused Zoro to lose his sword. And you're while watching this as this is going on, you know that Zoro is not fighting with 3 swords. He's only fighting with 1 because the other one is sheathed, and he lost the handle on the other one. Without this right here, he's about to go into his 3 sword style. That sword is going to call itself back to Zoro. As you can see right here, it's back in his hand. This is that sword flying right back into his hand. And now he's getting ready to do a 3 sword style. And you see the end result of that. Lucci loses the fight. Because like I said, whoever does a rapid maneuver first is the one that is going to lose the fight. It has yet to be broken. That's the end of that fight between Zoro and Lucci. Zoro comes out on top of that. We see right here, Luffy did escape from the sandworm, but he got put right back in by a combination of Saint Saturn and Fingshi ganging up on him, and then Sandworm swallowed him back up. But here we go. Arbrogi and Dory rescue the day. They pull off their biggest giant maneuver, which is a sun cleave. Sun saw is what they call it. They call it sun saw. They clash, basically they both swing at the same time, and they just decapitate Sandworm, freeing Luffy, and the Straw Hat Pirates are fully reunited with the Giants of Elbaf. And that brings us to the end of that episode. And let's go ahead and just take a look at the preview right here. That was a great episode, by the way. So the action looks like it continues. The Warriors of Elbaf and Luffy are going to be fighting together against the Gorosei, and that's going to be one big hell of a match. And we see that Zoro was taken away by Jinbei. And so on the next episode of One Piece, friends fight together, Luffy and the Warriors of Elbaf. Man, I loved that episode. I loved everything about it. That was a good reprieve from the trash we got from last week from One Piece. This one, for me, if it either advances the story or you get one of these crazy ass episodes where there's nothing but action and excitement, and we got a lot of action and excitement in this one. Man, I love that Lucci versus Zoro fight. This episode, 9 out of 10. What did you guys think of this episode? Was this episode really good in your book? Did it meet your expectations? Whatever your thoughts, jump down in the comments below and let me know what you think. And make sure you guys do like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolt signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. You guys take it easy.